So let's begin with lesson 1, shareholders democracy. Firstly, democracy, the word itself, what does it mean? It means it's the rule of the people, by the people and for the people. In the context of companies, shareholders democracy means it's the rule of the shareholders, by the shareholders and for the shareholders, right? So who is the most supreme person in the company? We can say it is the shareholders. Who elects the board of directors, for whom everyone is working? So it is again by the shareholders, for the shareholders, okay, and of the shareholders. That simple concept called as shareholders democracy. In company law, in Companies Act 2013, there are two segments or two divisions that we can classify at. One is the board of directors and the second are the shareholders. Tell me one thing, who are the owners of the company? Shareholders or directors? Who are the owners? The shareholders. They are the first set of people. Now, can shareholders work on a daily basis and take care of everything? No. So who do they appoint? Who do they appoint? They appoint the board of directors. This is the second part. They execute the work. Where are the board of directors selected and appointed? At the AGM and EGMs, etc. So this, a short note they can ask you, write a short note on shareholders democracy. Then comes the right of shareholders under Companies Act 2013. Can you all tell me what is section 179 relating to? What is section 179 relating to in Companies Act? It talks about the powers of board of directors. In the very next section, they restrict the powers of the board. Restriction on powers of board of directors. That they cannot do a certain thing. So again here, they've said that the board of directors have been conferred with general powers. They can do all those things at the board meeting. Now, thus the company has tried to demarcate the area of control of the board of directors. 179 में किसके powers है? Board of directors के, as well as that of the shareholders, and certain things only the shareholders can do with shareholders' consent. If you remember, can you tell me which resolution is passed here when they give in section 180? Ordinary or special? Which one? Regis? It's special resolution. Okay. So these are all generic topics, something that you know about, not something new. Now, some of the businesses which can be conducted or transacted at the shareholders meeting are all these. Okay, so you can read it once. That is it. Then come to the most important part of the chapter, where we will come. Now we are starting of the most important part of the chapter. That is your majority and minority rule. Okay. The majority and the minority rule was brought down in one case law called as Foss versus Harbottle or Harbottle. Okay. In this case, it was said that the courts will not normally interfere into the day-to-day functioning of the company as long it is run by the majority. Clear? So, it's called as a principle of non-interference or rule of non-interference. In this case law, what happened? This is the facts of the case, that there were two shareholders, Foss and Harbottle. They brought an action against the directors of the company and they said that the directors are mismanaging the funds and they have caused loss to the company, and therefore the directors should compensate to the company. Now what happened, that the court said that wrong has been done on the company, so it is a wrong on company. So who should come forward? The company should come forward. Company is a separate legal person, it can sue and be sued, so it should come forward and file the case. So Foss and Turton claimed damages but were denied any locus standi, right to move the court, right to bring action in the court. What was the reason for this? Firstly, it was as a justification for rule of Foss versus Enbottle. They said that it doesn't make sense if minority shareholders are filing case, but majority are saying that it is okay, because ultimately the rule of majority should prevail. So let's see what was the reason for passing this Foss versus Enbottle, where the court says that we will listen to what the majority says. Firstly, they are recognizing the separate legal personality of the company. That company is a separate legal existence, it can sue, so it should come forward. Second, need to preserve the rights of majority to decide. Whenever their company is a group of shareholders run by, it's managed by a group of shareholders, now the decision should be taken by majority, so we have to preserve the right of the majority. It should not be that majority decisions are not going through and minority people are getting their way out. So it should be the other way around. Next is, there would be multiplicity of cases. If we are allowing minority shareholders to file the cases, there would be multiple cases. Next, litigation would be there would be futile if the majority does not wish to go through. If the majority of the directors if the majority of the members do not want to file a case, then it would be futile to file a case. Next, when there is, as we were seeing, rule of non-interference, okay, it was laid down in Foss versus Harbottle. It stated that the courts would not interfere in the internal functioning, as long as the decisions are taken by majority. Okay, so this was the case law, this was the rule. The facts were that Foss and Turton filed a case on the directors of the company. However, it was said that the company is the wrong person, so company should forward, and the case was not maintainable and it was dismissed. Now tell me one thing, इसका हम लोग ने rational भी देखा. What was the rationale? There would be multiplicity of cases, it would be futile to file cases when majority are wanting to go ahead with the transaction. Now there is something called as exception to the rule. Exception to the rule. When will the courts take up the matter even at the instance of the minority shareholders? Can you tell me, when should the courts take up the matter even if minority people are coming? First of all, if it is a fraud on minority. If it is a fraud on minority, you tell me, will the majority care? No. So that time the courts will take up the matter. Second, if I am saying that a matter required special resolution was passed by ordinary resolution, okay, then again courts can interfere because the matter required special resolution. Next, Third one, what is the other thing when the courts will interfere even at the instance of minority shareholders? Another one, in law there is something called as oppression and mismanagement. Now इसका section जो है mark कर लो important, section 441 to section 446. Okay, it's called as oppression and mismanagement. If in the company the requisite minority, minimum number of minority, have to go to the courts, that is NCLT, and explain to the minority that they are being oppressed, that they are being treated in an unfair manner, or in the companies the properties and the management is being mismanaged in a manner prejudicial to public interest or to the company. It is prejudicial means it is violative of their rights, it's against their rights, then it would be taken. Let's see when a ultra vires act is being done, again they will interfere, the courts will interfere even at the instance of the minority. If the wrongdoers are in control, still they will interfere. So let's see what they have given. Ultra vires act was being done. Then second, fraud on minority. Wrongdoers are in control. A matter requiring special resolution is passed by simple majority. Personal actions. For example, if your individual personal rights are violated, okay, you will always have the right. For example, if you had a right to receive a certain amount, even if the majority doesn't stand with you, you will still get that amount. So let's see. Individual membership rights cannot be invaded by the decision of the majority. For example, today I say कि इसका dividend मत दो. So that is your individual membership rights. If I am saying इसको notice मत देना meeting का. So all of these are personal actions, personal attack on you. Next is a breach of duty. If there is a breach of duty by the directors, something which the directors were supposed to do and they didn't do, it will amount to oppression and it can be taken up by the courts. Then come into oppression mismanagement, very very important section you have to remember. It will come later on, section 241 to section 246. Each section will be going on in detail later on. That is it, we are done with the chapter. Now internally also I'll give you the markings. So this was the important part that they can ask you. So I'll tell you what all is important. Even these two cases are there, Edward, okay, and your Northwest Transportation. We'll just do the cases. Now section 47 of Companies Act. Anyone remembers क्या था 47? 47 of Companies Act said that if the preference shareholders do not get dividend for 2 consecutive years, or if any matter is detrimental to the investors, like for example winding up, all of them can come in the meeting and can vote. So every member of the company shall have a right to vote in respect on every resolution placed before the company. Here section 47 also says that every member, that's a shareholder, will have a right to vote on every resolution that is placed before it. Okay, this is your individual right. A special resolution requires 3/4 consent. Okay, and a simple majority is not enough. Simple case law not that important. इसका मतलब तुम एक matter which requires special resolution, तुम उसको ordinary resolution से नहीं pass कर सकते हो. Simple सी बात, not that important. The next case law, Northwest Transportation Company versus BT. The resolution of a majority of shareholders passed at a duly convened meeting upon any question in which the company is legally competent to deal is binding upon the minority and consequently upon the company. क्या बोल रहे वो लोग कि कोई भी डिसीजन अगर मेजॉरिटी ने पास किया है तो इट विल बिकम ऑटोमेटिकली बाइंडिंग ऑन द माइनॉरिटी. सी, अ रेजोल्यूशन passed at a duly convened meeting shall be binding upon the minority. This is what it is written. So here you can use these case laws to quote. Next, Ashbury Railway Carriage Company versus Ritchie. If you remember, this was about Ultra Vires Act. The company cannot ratify, that is approve, a Ultra Vires Act even if 100% consent is given. Clear is now? That was given in this. Cannot ratify any act which is outside the ambit of the memorandum. This was this case law. फिर we did this Foss versus Handbottle, which is the most important. This is the facts of the case, most important. Then उसके side cases ये रहे Raja Mundri Electric versus this Rao. Okay, the Supreme Court observed that the courts will not intervene at the instance of the shareholders in the internal administration and will not interfere with the management as long as they are acting within the purview of the articles and the memorandum. So as long as the majority is acting within the purview of law, the courts will not interfere into the company at the instance of minority. This is what it is given. You want, you can even write it and quote it down. Okay, then even in this Palides versus Genes, a minority shareholder brought an action for damages against the 3 directors. तो minority shareholders director के ऊपर केस कर रहे हैं, saying that they have been negligently selling a mine owned for the company for 82,000 when the real value was this much. Now tell me one thing, किसके साथ में किसकी प्रॉपर्टी कम भाव पे बिकी है? कंपनी की. So who is the right person to come forward? It is the company. Should the action be allowed of these minority shareholders? Answer is the action was not maintainable. So again you can quote this. Now in Edward Halliwell, okay, it was said that the rule in Foss versus Handbottle comes to no more than this. पहले first and second. First वो लोग उसका लॉजिक बता रहे, रैशनल बता रहे, Foss versus Handbottle का. Proper plaintiff should be come forward and the proper plaintiff is prima facie the company itself. Plaintiff means the complainant. Complainant is in criminal cases. Civil cases में plaint होता है, plaintiff. So who is a proper plaintiff? The company. So the company should come forward. Secondly, the alleged wrong is a transaction which might be made binding on the company by simple majority. अगर जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन ने ratify किया होगा by majority, so individual member should not be allowed to take action for that. Okay, if mere majority of the company is in favor of what is being done, then there is no question, further question that need to be asked. If majority is in favor, then there is no further question that we need to look into, as long as the laws are followed. Then you have Foss versus Handbottle and all the case laws. Okay, in this Foss versus Handbottle, in the Indian context, what they are saying कि Foss versus Handbottle ऐसा directly apply मत कर दो कि majority ने हाँ बोला तो सही ही होगा. Please go down into the depth of the case, into the crux of the case, and see whether it is valid or not. So the Delhi High Court in ICICI versus Param Puriya Synthetic Limited held that an automatic application of Foss versus Handbottle to the Indian corporate would be improper. Directly automatic application mat karo. The Indian corporate sector does not involve a large number of, so this is what you can remember. Simply they were saying that financial institutions bhi jo paise dete provide the real finance in the company. Therefore if we exclude them, agar unko kuch bolna hai, for example, my company is there and in my company funding, a loan has been taken. So don't you think the banks will also be an interested party in the company's well-being? If the companies goes into loss, even the banks will go into loss. So what they are saying कि financial institution, banks have really provided finance to the company's existence. So therefore to exclude them and to render them voiceless on application of Foss versus Handbottle would be unjust and unfair. Clear it now? So in this exceptions to the Ultra Vires Act, the Bharat Insurance Limited versus Kanhaiya Lal. What happened? A individual shareholder filed a case saying that the money was being mismanaged and it was contrary to the provisions of the memorandum. Since you were acting out contrary, violative of the memorandum, then the coach will interfere. तो यहाँ पे कोच ने बोला कि हम लोग इंटरनल में नहीं जाते हैं, तो कंपनी बेस्ट जज है और हमको इंटरव्यू नहीं करना चाहिए. बट ओके, if the application of the assets is not a matter of internal management, as the directors were acting ultra vires, a single member can maintain a suit. So in fraud on minority, it was held in this Meanier versus Cooper Telegraph work that यहाँ पे क्या हुआ था कि company A was there and majority of the shareholders of company A were also of shareholders of company B. So what happened? Company B must have defaulted. इन लोग ने कोई default किया होगा. So company A should have taken action. Company A should have taken action. But इसके जो majority shareholders हैं, majority shareholders, okay, they entered into a compromise which was in favor of company B. तो बचा लिया वो लोग ने खुद को. So यहाँ पे क्या लिखा? It was observed that it would be a shocking thing if the majority of the shareholders are allowed to put something into their pocket at the expense of the minority. The majority of the shareholders of company A were also members of company B. At a meeting of company A, they passed a resolution to compromise an action against company B. तो company A के shareholders ने बोला कि ठीक है यार, company B को माफ कर देते हैं. So which was in favor of company B, but it was not in favor of company A. तो minority shareholders जो वो company से related नहीं है, so they were entitled to file a case. This was considered to be a fraud. Then they have said there is no clear definition. What do you mean by fraud on minority? And courts has to see from the surrounding and each matter has to be seen individually. What they will see whether the majority has acted in bona fide interest of the company or no. This is given in Allens versus Gold Reef. Okay. Then when the wrongdoers are in control, so you can read the case laws like that. Okay, these are simple case laws, but this is the most important part of the chapter. Foss versus Handbottle. So the question that can be framed is explain the majority rule, the Foss versus Handbottle, and the answer can come for 8 marks. And that is it. We are done with the chapter.